Okay, so the next exercise is single arm horizontal row. And so I'm going to demonstrate here two focus, also a common pattern, and the pattern that is what I believe is more optimal to get the effect that we're trying to get with this exercise. Now, this pattern, this horizontal row pattern, is to be done with a bent over row. So whether that's you have a hand and a knee on the bench and doing bent over row, or you're doing what I call a 3-point bent over row, which we're actually going to do for the shoulder lecture. So the big thing here is I want quality lat activity. Now, a lot of people coach the retraction of the shoulder blade when they teach a row. I don't like that because I don't think that's very authentic. And it's also an internal cue, and you're internally retracting the scapula. In movement, we don't really see retraction of the scapula too much in sports, actually. When we, especially in throwing sports, we see quality upward rotation. Now, individuals who have been overcoached or over-cued to retract the scapula when they do a bent over row, when they go into abduction, you'll actually see the scapula retract and then start to upwardly rotate, and that's actually non-optimal for overhead activity. So the first thing I'm going to demonstrate is the internal focus of pulling to your armpit. It's a very common pattern here. I want you to watch the tip of my shoulder right here when I pull to the armpit. And see what happens. You can see my shoulder kind of sticking out right here, and I'll show it again. I'll run it back. I don't like that. The scapula comes over and actually ends up being what's called relative shoulder external rotation, because the scapula starts to slide over the humerus. Now, I pull what I call pull the 6-shooter out of the holster. And so pulling to the armpit causes this funky cold Medina shoulder here that you see. Now watch me. I imagine that I'm a Wild Wild West style here, and imagine the old 6-shooter that's stick in the side of the hip here. I'm going to pull that sucker to here. Now, notice whenever I finish, I'm not extending at the elbow. I pull straight to the hip pocket here. I call pull the 6-shooter out of the holster. And talk about lats. What's lat? I can't hear you. Good lat activity. Nice. Let's see that again. Shoulder, I don't like it. Here, I really like it. Now, let's talk about, so we've talked about biomechanics. We talked the tissue here is, and the goal here would be get quality lat strength. From a coaching standpoint, again, pulling that 6-shooter out of the holster is a good cue, whatever you want to cue there. A common fault is to pull up into towards the armpit, so that, and see that scapula slide over the top. And sets reps here, we're looking at a strength exercise, and this is not a full body exercise. So you're looking at anywhere from keeping total volume anywhere from 15 to 25 total reps.